Every issue has two sides. Most shows pick one. We argue both. Not for clicks, not for comfort, but because the truth loves attention. Between ideas, power, and the people they affect. This is Mike and Nick. Left versus right. 30 minutes. No talking points. No safe takes. No holds barred. Let's go!
You really emphasize the let's go.
You know who I'm doing that as a tribute to?
Who?
Somebody I bet you admire. I bet you wish he'd get the Order of Canada. That's for Don Cherry. Don Cherry would say, let's go!
Let's go.
Did you own any Rock'em Sock'em videotapes?
He's okay, that guy.
You're not a big Don Cherry fan.
I don't know.
I'm surprised. I thought you might have a poster of Don Cherry.
Everybody loves Don
your
Cherry.
bedroom.
Everybody loves Don Cherry.
So, Nick, how you doing?
He got sacked. He got sacked because he spoke the truth.
He got sacked for years of intolerance, and I think it was a last straw.
We need more.
Rogers made a business decision. Don't you respect when a company like Rogers, there to make money, makes a business decision?
Absolutely not. I don't trust Rogers.
You probably
they're a monopoly.
Okay, well tell
Bell and Rogers, they're monopolies.
Okay, well that's a duopoly.
Well, they're both the same.
Because monopoly means one. So
yeah, it's basically there's only monopolies in Canada.
Well, I feel like that's an episode on itself. So I'm going
Extreme
to warn you
Ainis.
off the top of this episode, Nick, that this is our 6th episode where, you know, when you have a new show, you find your rhythm. And of course, I respect your opinions. I will continue to respect your opinions. But I don't think I can lay back sometimes, hold back, when sometimes you say things that I find...
Well, you better start laying back or I'm going to smash you in the face.
Would you do that?
Just kidding.
Could I say something that would cause you to be violent with me?
No.
Okay,
never.
Just checking.
Never.
And those notifications I'm hearing...
Well, you asked me if I had a gun this morning.
Well, that was a private conversation. But what I'm asking is...
I don't have a gun.
In your house, I don't mean like in your car, but in your house, do you own a firearm?
No. But I got a gun license, and it's interesting.
What do you mean interesting? Like, do you shoot people or do you shoot animals?
No, I learned a lot. No, I don't shoot animals because my wife's an animal lover, and if I shot animals, she'd kill me. She'd kick me out of the house.
She'd shoot you.
But I think, we did it because we said, oh, Kamala Harris is coming to power. Let's, we need guns and generators and everything and food to survive for the next 20 years. But all kidding aside, I did it because I wanted to learn something. And, the more I learned about guns, the more I learned how dangerous they are. And
interesting.
I have never really shot a gun, but I learned all about them. And it was a really good course. And I passed the course. There were experts there that failed the course.
Really?
Yep.
So is it about safety? Like
it's mainly about safety, yeah.
Well, I wish
and you're learning the history of guns and the technology and everything like that.
Okay.
It was quite interesting, actually.
When you say you never shot anything, but you shot like clay pigeons or something like that, right? Like
with a BB gun.
Oh, with a BB gun. Okay, not like a six.
No, I shot seagulls with a BB gun.
Hey, that's a living thing. I hope your wife doesn't hear that.
When I was a kid.
Oh, jeez. I don't know, man. I got to tell you, kids do stupid things, so I'm going to forgive that one. But as long as you're not doing that today, shooting the sequels.
No, I don't do that today. Come on.
I know.
This is truth. I'm a truth teller.
Well, yeah, that's...
more or less.
It's in the intro. It's truth loves tension, so we're here to tell the truth.
Okay. Well, let's get on here, man.
Well, yeah, we have to do a little warm-up. You can't just dive right in.
That's the warm-up.
We're done the warm-up. Okay, I'm getting my notes over here.
But I'd like to say you're safe, and I'm not going to attack you.
Okay.
Oh,
I feel safe.
You're too nice of a guy.
Well,
you're so cute.
Depends who you ask. Okay. Oh yeah, but that's a callback to another podcast. Yeah, we should talk about that. A wild episode of Building Toronto Skyline. We have another one coming up, so I want to get into it. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre sat down for more than...
That's the last one. I want to talk about that.
You got to flip it. You got to close big. So
why?
Well, because I already had these notes before you interfered. So, but here, as the host of this show.
Unbelievable.
So we'll just spend a moment here. I'm just interested in your thoughts on this. So Pierre Poilievre sat down for a more than 2-hour interview on the Joe Rogan Experience this week. Do you listen to the Joe Rogan Experience?
I see clips of Joe Rogan. I don't listen to the podcast from start to beginning, but he's I would respect him as a podcaster, and he's got a big audience, so he's doing.
He has a big
right.
audience. He has a big audience. Absolutely.
Maybe,
I
he's
wondered,
got interesting guests on the show, and
did you listen to this 2 hours plus with Pierre Poilievre, conservative leader?
I did not. I saw clips of it though. Did you?
I did not spend 2 hours with it. I read a CBC article which said, 5 things we learned, and it summarized.
Oh, here we go.
Different things. No, I don't have them here. I was going to ask you.
CBC WOKE.
That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. I was going to ask you, Nick Ainis, what do you think about Pierre Poilievre sitting down with a big American podcaster, kind of MAGA aligned?
Well, he's not. I don't know if he's that MAGA aligned. He likes Trump. He endorsed Trump, but he's not by any means MAGA. He's anti everything that you stand for.
Doesn't like bike lanes.
Liberal, woke, and everything like that.
Doesn't like
Just
bike
kidding.
lanes.
Just kidding. Sorry, I shouldn't go on the attack here. But I think it was a good. He should have done that when he was running for prime minister. I wish he. In the last election, it would have been better. But, honestly, he's going out there and trying new things. I would just leave it at that. I don't think it's going to make a big impact on Canadians that he went on Joe.
Well, that's my question. Rogan. Will this help him become the next Prime Minister of Canada?
I don't think it necessarily does, but it's nothing wrong with going on there. I mean, it sounds like he's doing some new things, trying to build some experience in, I guess, international politics and that kind of stuff. I wouldn't call Joe Rogan international politics, but it's interesting that he went on there and he expressed his views on what he thinks the direction of Canada should go.
So I think you and I agree on this point. I know we typically have different perspectives, but I think we're both indifferent to this. Like, I don't care.
It's not a big deal. I mean, it's just, if you want to listen to it, go ahead and listen to it.
He could have picked a Canadian podcaster, though.
Like who?
Toronto Mike.
Yeah, I think so.
You should. Pierre, come in the basement. We'll have a little chat here. You can co-host that episode.
Will you have him in there? Are you going to be respectful to him?
Oh, my God. I respect all my guests, even right-wing loonies like Nick Ainis. I respect all my guests here. So we got to go.
But hang on. Like, you're missing all the whole point of whether it made a difference or not is not the point. Like, things he talked about was affordability in Canada and housing shortages and government spending and inflation. He's viewed himself as a sort of outsider. And, I think those are important topics to talk about. And I think we're going to talk about more of those today.
Well, maybe we do that right now. Before we head to the Middle East, where things are as clear as mud.
Well, I had a flow for this show, and I gave you those topics in order.
What time did you send it?
In order. And you know what? You're screwing up my order.
Well, I have a flow as well. So let me ask you about some numbers. I wanted to talk about the U.S. Embassy attack. Then, okay, well, we can talk about that now if you want.
Because they flow really good. You know why? Because you talk about the embassy attack, and then you talk about the Strait of Hormuz. Then you talk about the situation in Canada, because they're all related, right?
Sure, okay.
Oil and inflation and all those issues are kind of related. And then I was going to end it off on Poilievre, but you screwed me up, man.
All right, March 10th. So we're talking on March 20th, right? We did record last week, but we didn't discuss this point. On March 10th, 2 suspects in a white Honda CRV fired multiple shots at the US Consulate in Toronto. Because it's not an embassy when it's in Toronto. Embassies are in capital cities. This is the consulate. I need to fact check you. Shout out to Robert Lawson. So this was like 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, right. Here are my notes right here.
Causing damage to the building, but no injuries. And police are treating this shooting, which they describe as a national security incident and an act of intimidation. Please, what do you think? Do you think this is because of the invasion of Iran? Why do you think the shooting at the American consulate in Toronto happened?
Okay, there's a big background here, but I'm going to just say,
let's listen.
I'm going to say that we've enabled these crazy protests in our streets all over Canada, and it shouldn't be allowed. We're too lax. There's a different, I believe in free speech, but not hatred. And there's a lot of hatred that's being spread in these protests.
Mm-hmm.
And, including a lot of anti-Semitic positions towards Israel and to Jewish people. And I am not a big fan of this. I don't agree with this at all. They're a lot of them have been organized around the pro-Palestinian events, and
Sure.
and I think it's unacceptable. I mean, it's good you can be pro-Palestinian, but you should be pro-Israel at the same time.
Well, I would say that I agree with you again, but I think there's a fine line between protest and hate speech. And I think absolutely in this country, you need to have the right to protest. That's a key pillar of democracy. But
well, the truckers had a right to protest, but
Well, I don't have the energy to revisit the convoy, but I can tell you that hate rhetoric, so anti-Semitism and hate rhetoric, you're right. There's no place for that because our citizens need to feel safe in the streets of Toronto, and our Jewish citizens would not feel safe with a protest with such hatred towards their religion. And there's no tolerance for anti-Semitism, particularly when it seems to be, in my opinion, that they're anti-Israel. But some people don't seem to have the intelligence to differentiate between the nation of Israel and their policies and the religion that is Judaism. And all of this results in some shootings of synagogues. And you're right, completely unacceptable that it's enabled when these protests turn into hate marches.
Yes.
Zero tolerance.
You got it. So you know what? As soon as you enable groups like this, and people are encouraging it, politicians are encouraging it, because they're not speaking out, and I think this is what's leading to people feeling empowered to do things like this. That's my opinion.
Right. So
it starts with politicians. It starts with leadership. It starts with calling out these people. Okay. And hey, I don't have a problem with someone saying, "Hey, Palestinians should have a home."
Right.
I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
But I have an exception with someone who says, "Oh, I'm pro-Palestinian, and I want to see the destruction of Israel."
Right.
Obviously it doesn't make sense.
You know what? I feel like this is the bizarro episode of Mike and Nick. We're going to agree on all these points.
Well,
I agree
see.
100% with you on that one as well.
Until I hit Carney.
Well, we're closing with Carney. I've got the numbers here. Numbers don't have a bias.
No.
But we gotta
go to the Strait of Hormuz.
I said we're closing with Carney, but we're not closing
Carney.
yet.
Yeah,
we're
okay.
going to the Strait of Hormuz. We're going to the Middle East here.
I'm ready to go bombs.
Bombs? Well, that's Iraq, where the bombs were over Baghdad. That was a good song, right? Right? That's Outkast.
Yeah.
All right. So talk to me, my friend. What are your feelings on what's happening in the Middle East?
Q107, that guy?
Yeah, that's the champ.
Yeah, the champ.
So it hits me in the solar plexus, and he goes for it. I remember the champ. That was brother Jake Edwards who was the champ.
Yeah.
I've talked to him about it. How's your coffee, by the way? Can I tell the listenership that I made you a coffee?
Well, you made me coffee, but it's,
you
I can't complain. I mean, it's okay. It's a little bit light.
It's the only flavor of coffee we had because I make French press, but we had
I would have
Nespresso
preferred
for
the fresh
yeah, I
French
need more.
press.
You got to foam me with more than 2 minutes warning because I have to boil the water first.
Okay,
That's
well, it was
key.
good. This was good.
I'll make you a French press next time you're over here.
Oh,
okay,
good.
talk to me. I got notes on what's new. It's changing every single day. We got to timestamp this Friday, March 20th at 8:47 a.m. What are your feelings on what's happening in the Middle East right now?
Well, there hasn't been major changes.
Iran hit oil refineries and natural gas facilities in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait.
Yeah.
Right?
I know you're gonna.
Because Israel attacked an Iranian natural gas
I'm
field.
saying that nothing has jumped off the map in Iran. It's the same kind of condition. They're hitting the Iranians are hitting everybody in the Gulf. United States and Israel are making coordinated attacks. And Mark Carney is flipping on his original statement saying, "Oh, we're never going to go in Iran. You're never going to go in Iran." He said we don't know. At the beginning, he wasn't sure. Then he said he doesn't want to go in. And you know what? This is typical about these sort of left-leaning socialist countries.
Carney socialist? That's the most conservative prime minister we've had.
including Canada and Europe, they're very aligned these days.
You're funny.
But all I'm going to say, socialist Mark Carney. Yeah, he's a socialist. He's
Governor of the Bank of Canada, Bank of England. This is a socialist for you here.
Yeah, he's a socialist. No, he's a spender. That's what he is. He wants to spend Canadian.
Your hero Donald Trump is the greatest spender in the history of the world.
He's not my hero. Okay, don't give this misinformation. Don't let out misinformation.
My apologies, Nick.
I'm a neutral.
Finish your thought there, because I have some hard facts for you.
Okay, well, you're pushing me. You're interrupting, and then you're expecting me, and now you're pushing me to talk. Anyways, I think at the end of the day, this is what I got to say. We got to help the situation. We have to jump in. I'm split on what should happen here next. I guess opening up the Strait of Hormuz is important for global trade, the global economy. I'm actually even concerned that other countries are coming into the Strait of Hormuz, if they do come in, to help transport oil, because it could lead to more countries getting involved in this conflict, which is concerning. I think there is a point that these countries should pause a little bit, but at the same time, too much hesitation and inconsistency under pressure, kind of shows a lack of leadership. We should. I think there's been some statements from Western countries that are good in support of what's happening in Iran, but at the same time, it's a delicate situation.
Yeah, two countries did this, right, Nick? Like two countries, they didn't let us know. They didn't ask permission.
No, they don't. There was no
United Nations. Right. Well, they didn't even go through Congress, right?
There shouldn't be.
Well, I mean, there are laws, not my law. American law is that you can't.
All the people that went through Congress, all the presidents that went through Congress, right? Like Obama went through Congress, Johnson went through Congress.
Went back on that one. Okay,
come on. Let's be real. None of them went through Congress.
Let's be real. This was the United States.
The Bay of Pigs with Kennedy. What a joke! Come on.
We'll hardly call that a war.
Joke. That's a joke statement, by the way.
But okay, so we have two countries.
I just nailed you.
Wow, I'm hurting. You said you weren't going to beat me up. Two countries did this. Right, so now you're concerned with
two countries did this, and and you know what? To be honest with you, it's not a terrible thing.
Well, removing an evil, evil empire is not a bad thing in principle. Like even you and I could agree with that. But here's a couple of hard hitting facts here before we segue to Canada. Brent crude oil. Do you follow the price here? So
I don't really follow.
Since the war began on February 28th, it's up more than 50%.
Wow.
That's a fact for you. And of course, the Strait of Hormuz, which you just so the listenership knows, it's about a fifth. So 1/5 of the world's oil passes through the Strait of Hormuz.
But we don't get our oil from there, right?
We don't get our oil through there because we have a big straw that sucks it out of Alberta.
So here's what I'm going to say. So Trudeau was taxing the gas, and there was a massive inflation with oil during the Biden and Trudeau era, and nobody did anything about it. So, honestly, just take it easy.
Well, Gary, good segue. You're a master at this because we're closing with Canada. And here's the facts. Canada's labor market experienced a significant downturn in February. We lost 84,000 jobs. This is the largest decline outside of the pandemic in decades.
But from January to February, it's 109,000, by the way.
Okay, I just have my February stats. Pushing the unemployment rate up to 6.7%.
On average in Canada, and Ontario is the highest of those provinces at 7.8.
So what do you attribute these losses to, Nick? I have my thoughts, but what do you attribute these losses to?
Well, I attribute it to a very poor economy and, Mark Carney not doing his job properly.
I'm going to remind you of something.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Go ahead.
Obviously, there's a few things at stake here. The situation has been happening since call it over a year ago, 2 years ago, we had a rise in interest rates, and then we had a big crash in the real estate market. And these job losses probably have a big construction component in there too. And I'm in the industry. I think prices are going up too much. And I think the appetite for investment in Canada is very low. And obviously, you can blame a lot of the uncertainty in the global stage. Obviously, the tariffs have something to do with it as well. So there's this big uncertainty, but at the same time, we have a prime minister, we have a government. We have to do everything we can to improve the lives of Canadians, and we're not doing that. Clearly, because people are losing their jobs, and I think more unemployment is coming. I think this is very concerning, and if we see more and more of this, we're going to have a big problem in Canada.
Well, I think we will. I agree with you again, Nick. It's too many times in one episode. We'll have to fix this for the next episode of Mike and Nick. But I will say that we, as we know, for the past year plus, there's been a tariff war from the President of the United States of America.
But you can't blame all of that on...
No.
You can't blame everything on Donald Trump. We have some serious problems here at home. I'm not even going to blame Carney because, you know what? He inherited 10 years of BS from Trudeau. He was a complete... loser, I would say. Loser.
Wow. Sounds like a Trumpian
No,
term.
he was a loser. He was a loser. He should never have been in power.
That's democracy for you.
He really destroyed our country.
But
I'm going to say that. But I'm going to say this: you can't blame Carney for that. Okay,
I don't blame Carney.
But Carney's been in power. But we have to cut all these. We are taxed. Like Canadians are up to their eyeballs in debt, in high inflationary pressures, and someone's got to do something about it. We have to ease this burden on ordinary Canadians, and we've got to do it on small business and medium-sized businesses and help them. It's too much what's going on in this country. Cut the regulations, cut all this BS that's holding us back, cut all these taxes. If you're not going to provide the service, don't spend our money, because that's what they're doing.
Cut the crap, you're saying.
Cut the crap. And you're not going to disagree?
I'm going to just say that I was braced for far worse. And with this tariff war, we knew this was going to hurt economically. We're at war economically in the United States, and it was going to hurt. But you mentioned construction. Well, it's tied to...
it's tied to everything, but we have problems in Canada. We got to fix Canada.
Yes, we need to fix Canada. But in this trade war... I think we got off a little bit easy here. I think it might get worse before it gets better. I think, and you mentioned construction, but it's wholesale retail, construction, and manufacturing where these, job losses are particularly felt. And of course, with these tariffs, it's exactly where I thought we'd hit it. But one last point on our way out, we only have a few seconds left, is we did drop in population for the first time in recorded history. We lost 100,000 Canadians in 2025. Maybe we should talk about this in a future episode.
They're leaving.
Immigration was dramatically reduced. They're not leaving. We stopped immigration. And I think that's a mistake.
They're leaving. They're saying, I'm getting out of this woke country.
And thank you for listening to Mike and Nick. Be sure to see Nick Ainis and Brad Bradford on April 2nd. Get your tickets now, right, Nick?
Come on.
Please share, like, and subscribe. And Nick and I will see you again in 2 weeks.